The City of Brooklyn Center approved a preliminary budget, one that will include a tax increase on residential property. The city's total proposed property tax levy for 2020 is $19.5 million. That's a $1 million increase over last year. For the medium value home in Brooklyn Center, it would amount to a $59 increase in city taxes. Driving the increase is personnel costs. Building the water treatment plant also added to the city's debt load. As a result, property tax rates are on the high end in Brooklyn Center compared to other peer cities, largely due to the city's smaller tax base. Councilmember Dan Ryan believes the taxes, though, are not out of line, citing an audit by an independent CPA firm.
What drives that, for the most part, is that in their assessment that the City of Brooklyn Center has extraordinarily high public safety costs. And public safety is our first obligation.
City Council did turn down a request by the Brooklyn Center Police Chief for 2 additional officers. Councilmember Ryan says that would have contributed to a double-digit tax increase. Public safety takes up 46% of the city's budget. A final budget vote is expected December 2nd. A Minnesota group is hoping to convince people to view marijuana as they do. The organization called Smart Approaches to Marijuana Minnesota recently held a workshop in Maple Grove for public health workers and others. The event covered their view on marijuana policy, that the state shouldn't allow it to be commercialized. Members of the group stopped short of advocating to keep recreational marijuana completely illegal, but they don't want it to be sold in stores. They say states that have allowed commercial marijuana sales aren't doing as well as the public thinks.
You don't see carnage on the highways. You don't see communities devastated by a meth addiction-like phenomenon, but you see plenty of health impacts that are not rosy. One of the problems is I think the pro-marijuana side, which often are the politicians because they pass the pro-marijuana bills, don't want to educate their public about it.
Winters says allowing commercial sales doesn't reduce the number of drug dealers on the street and may increase demand for illegal sales because those aren't subject to taxes. Perpich Arts High School in Golden Valley is seeing an uptick in enrollment. This after a legislative audit found serious problems 2 years ago. This year, enrollment is at 125 students, a 9% increase from last year. The school, which is funded by the state, has a capacity to serve 310 students from all around Minnesota. The audit 2 years ago revealed low test scores, declining enrollment, and mismanagement. Since then, administrative changes have been made and the school boosted recruitment efforts.
Since I'm all about the one-on-one and the ability to have a conversation, because for me it's all about fit. Hopefully Perpich will be the right fit for a number of students, and having that conversation and coming in is the best way to know if we are the right place for a student.
Perpich is tuition-free and is open to all 11th and 12th grade students in Minnesota. The admissions deadline for next school year is February 1st. Fall in the northwest suburbs is a special time of year. As Eric Nelson found out, there is color close by and plenty of autumn options in the area.
The crackling days of fall have arrived. Soon, autumn colors will be peaking.
Here in the next couple weeks, the metro area is really going to start popping.
From Elm Creek to River Park along the Mississippi, trees in the northwest burbs are slowly starting to change.
I think we have some of the best fall colors right here.
This is the beginning of Minnesota's Crayola season, when radiant red, blaze orange, and bright yellow give the area a Technicolor look.
It's a very Instagrammable season, I like to call it, because I mean it's so picturesque.
It really is like a rainbow.
Thanks to a rainy summer, some experts are forecasting spectacular scenery this year.
My friends at the DNR, they like to tell me that we're expecting a really nice color show here in Minnesota.
The key is pay attention and soak up every colorful day.
Winter will be here before we know it.
Because fall usually goes by in a Minnesota minute.
It is very fleeting. One, especially every tree is different. So you might come, one day and you'll see all these vibrant reds. The next day those are all gone and it's all yellow.
I mean, it's changing by the day, by the hour, maybe even the minute. I'm not sure how those leaves work exactly, but it's fast.
There is something magical about fall. Pumpkin patches, wildflowers, even swamps explode with color.
I would say it's one of our peak times. you know, summer and fall, I think, are some of the best times to come here. As we know, it's some of the best weather you'll experience.
Tourism in Minnesota is a $15.3 billion business, and fall accounts for 25% of that because visitors have so many options.
Pumpkins, apple orchards, harvest festivals, Oktoberfests, grape stomping at wine festivals.
Another bonus of early fall is the wildflowers are still popping. Here along the Mississippi River, it's a Minnesota Vikings show. Plenty of purple and gold galore. In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
After a vigorous crowdfunding campaign, a much-anticipated downtown Robbinsdale mural is finally being painted. The new mural is on the south wall of Ace Hardware. The store is donating the paint, and local groups like the JCs contributed to the work of art. Robbinsdale's Economic Development Authority and Springboard for the Arts helped to fund the project. Robbinsdale's muralist Lily Payne came up with the design.
I hope they stop and take a look at, you know, this really big blue wall and kind of see the elements that make Robbinsdale special, like all of these awesome restaurants we're having now and the history of professional wrestling and that crazy magazine that we published.
According to the city, the project cost in excess of $20,000. The artists started painting on Tuesday and should wrap up this weekend.
It was a playoff-like atmosphere when rivals Breck and Blake battled in boys soccer last week. It's part of an impressive body of work for Breck this season.
Wide left.
While coaches like to preach that all games are equal, Breck's 4-2 win over arch rival and then #1 Blake last week was something special for the Mustangs.
Yes, they did.
It was great. The adrenaline was pumping. It was a huge game for us. They're always a tough team to play against, and I'm just glad we could come out on top that time. Yeah.
That's the game you look forward to every year, and it was a lot of fun. We got to get the win, and it was just a great night.
Our guys were really up for that game. They were really looking forward to it. You know, the conference title was on the line. We also wanted to make a statement to a team that had done it all last year. You know, they won state. So
all in all, it's been a great season for Breck. They entered the week with a 10-2 record, and the 2 losses are to the team currently ranked #1 in AA, Edina, and #1 in Class A, Holy Angels.
We definitely learned some things, and we watched a fair amount of video after those games because you know, if you don't learn something from those, you're passing up on an opportunity, and we definitely found some things that I think we've gone a ways toward correcting.
We lost our entire back line and goalie from last year. Gunner, new goalie, has stepped in and done really well, and so have the guys who have been asked to step in as well. So I'm proud of what we've done so far.
No doubt Breck's very good, but the path to state is not easy. 4 of the top 7 teams in this week's Class A poll are in Section 5.
We know that when section comes, it's one game elimination, and we got to bring our A game and work hard and prepare for that. So it's just going to be exciting to play those teams. It's always fun. The better teams are always more fun to play against.
If we want to make it to state, we know we really have to earn it, and that's how it's been in years past and this year as well. So Blake, Totino Grace, De La Salle, all good teams.
The playoffs are rapidly approaching, and Breck's dialed in. Breck is #2 in the Class A rankings. They play #6 Orono next weekend. In girls swimming, it's mostly conference meets for the rest of the regular season for local teams. Park Center and Cooper, though, stepped out of conference competition for a meet at Plymouth Middle School. The 200 freestyle, Cooper's Kendra Kerner and Camille West in a good race, and it's Kerner pulling out the win. The Hawks get another victory in the 200 IM as Emma Launderville touches home first. Her time is 2:34.30. Park Center scores a win in the 50 free as Lily Wynn clocks a winning time of 27:56. In the 200 freestyle relay, the Cooper team of Launderville, Morgan Stromberg, Claire Stromberg, and Ellie Smith roll to the win in a time of 1:57.43. Cooper's Maddie Monner wins the 100 backstroke, her second win of the night as the Hawks take the meet 100-74. The Osseo volleyball team has just 3 losses this season, all to teams ranked. The Orioles were at home and challenged by rival Maple Grove. First set, the Orioles' Allie Hinsey and Gabby Bodine get up to block the Maple Grove attack for an Osseo point. Later in the first, it's Hinsey with an ace serve as Osseo takes the opening set 25-15. And the Orioles cruise in set two. Taylor Kwan passes to Kennedy Nelson, who sets up Lindy Ojri for the kill, and Osseo takes the set 25-10 to go up 2-0. But the Crimson play much better in the third set. Maggie Knutson takes advantage of the Osseo overpass to knock it down for a point here. Then a great dig, and it goes up to Jordan Lampker, who sets Skylar Gray for the big swing, and Maple Grove takes the set 25-20. The fourth set is close, but Osseo pulls it out, rallying late. Hinsey gets blocked, but gets another swing at it and delivers a kill. Osseo wins 27-25. They win the match 3-1. And be sure to watch our Sports Jam show starting Monday afternoon. We'll have all the week's highlights, our Play of the Week winner, and Sports Jam Spotlight. Again, that's Monday on CCX.